After the conflict between Iran and Israel in June 2025, the 12 days war, as they call it, Iran updated a lot of its system. For example, it moved out of the GPS system, which is a US system, and started using the Chinese system. Right? With the help of China and Russia, they improved their air defense system and all the other capabilities. Right? Basically, they prepared themselves for conflict because they know that the US and Israel will try to get them again. That is why you saw Netanyahu flying to the US at the start of this protest to tell Donald Trump, hey, look, we believe that something is going to happen in Iran, and we have already started, operations there so that we can dismantle the system. So we need to be prepared to attack. So basically, Mossad, the Secret Service or whatever, they are trying to find a way to penetrate Iran again, right? Try to bribe generals, people who are closer to the regime. For example, closer to the Ayatollah or, anybody else who can give them access to the high-ranking authorities of the government. The action that we saw in Venezuela showed us one thing, is that the U.S. can no longer, afford operations such as the one that they did in Libya, Syria, or even Iraq, right? Because what we saw in Venezuela is the United States moving a whole bunch of weapons, right? To try to scare people, basically, right? We thought they were going to invade Venezuela, but they didn't invade Venezuela. They just moved the weapons to scare people. And they sat there for 4 months, from August all the way until January, because they were negotiating to try to find someone who can basically hand them Maduro over. They were trying to bribe the generals, and they were successful at that, right? They found some generals, gave them a whole bunch of money, and they went ahead and dismantled the S-300 system and allow U.S. military in, right? And so what the U.S. fear today is the loss of soldiers, and of course, the fact that now many countries are ready to respond, right? Countries no longer fear where they're just going to sit down and watch. And then number three, countries have, weapons that can do some serious damages to the United States. And the clear example was Iran. Iran by itself handled both the US and Israel and gave them a major blow. And so the biggest challenge that the US is going to have if they decide that they want to attack Iran is, number one,